So reminded me.
Yes. You explained that Captain Zwane arrived. What happened further?
Ushilo ukuthi kwasefika uCaptain Zwane kwenzekani masefikile?
Semafika sambonisa izinto besizitholile lapha ama-exhibit.
Upon his arrival, we pointed out to him the things that we found there, the exhibits.
Yes.
Yebo.
Ngiyaqhubeka wathatha uMakhumalo interviewer uthathola istory ukuthi kwenzakaleni naye.
He then interviewed Makhumalo so as to get from her as to what happened.
Yes.
Yebo.
After a while, photographer.
After a while, if I remember correctly, I think the photographer came in.
If we can ask the witness to speak up a bit more.
Okay. Please speak up, sir. Okay.
After his cut, we are a photographer.
After a while, the photographer came in.
Was introduced as Constable Musia.
Introduced himself as Constable Musia.
Yes. More or less, what time was it when Constable Musia arrived?
Kwangabani isikhathi uma kufika uConstable Musia?
It's a little late, around to 12, 11 to 12.
It was already late, between 11:30 before 12.
Yes. What happened further?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Mangikhumbula kahle ukuthi uCaptain Zwane uyawambonisa ama-exhibit.
If I remember well, Captain Zwane pointed out the exhibits to him.
Yes.
Yebo.
Wafaka nale coin esiyibona lapho, coin le yellow.
He then placed the cone, the one which we saw on the photograph, the yellow cone. He placed it there.
We're just going to show you photo 5 of Exhibit C.
Yebo. Here it is, the witness pointing to the cone and the photo.
Yes.
Loving the projectile coin.
That's where the projectile was.
It's photo number?
It's photo number 5.
5. Okay.
Yes, we proceed.
But isikhathi ngoba uthe mangena umsiya kuyongena after isikhathi kuyongena i-freelancing task team.
After Msia had entered, and then after some time thereafter, the task team came in.
Yes, and what is this task team?
Yini the task team.
That's a task team that's where we have province, if I'm not mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they were from the province.
Yes.
Yep.
But we may be excused.
They just said to us, you may be excused. Sending a khululeka.
As we take her over.
They will be taking over.
Yes.
We then went out.
Yes.
After his police station.
I think we stood there for a while, and thereafter we went back to the police station.
Yes.
Police station space aqedela i-docket senikeza i-data type ukuthi capture.
Upon our arrival at the police station, we completed the docket and handed it over to the data capturer to capture it.
was then captured?
Captured.
Yeah, well capture.
Yes, it was.
Yes. What, do you know the particulars of the docket,
We are a particular zalo in docket,
the cast number?
cast number
It's 636 10 2014.
636 10 2014.
Yes. You testify that you completed the docket at the police station. Where did you commence with the compilation of the docket?
Ushilo wathi ukuqedela naqedela e-police station kodwa uqala ngalo naqala kuphi ngalo?
Esikini number 13511.
At the scene at number 13511.
And after that, did you go back to the scene on the particular night?
Ngalobo busuku lo ngaba nabuyela futhi ku scene.
Siyaqhubeka nama-complaint amanye.
No, we proceeded with other complaints.
And just one aspect. When you arrived at the hospital, you testified that there was a BMW SUV and that the lady who introduced herself as Kelly came out. Was she alone?
Ushilo ukuthi uma nifika esibhedlela ne kunale SUV BMW kwaphuma lo CC ke owayichaza ukuthi uKelly Kumalo wayeyedwa yini.
Umfana nje lapha passenger seat.
There was a gentleman in the passenger seat.
Is there anything else you wish to add?
Khona kunye ofuna ukusho? No.
Thank you, Mother. That is all.
Sir, please.
As the court pleases, my lord. Afternoon, Mr. Mathebula. Now, your evidence is that you received a dispatch over radio about a shooting incident at 13511 Mzamo, Kutlano Street, Mzamo section on the 26th of October 2014, correct?
Uyasho ke ukuthi nathola ke lo mbiko onitshela nge-shooting in progress e-13511.
Yebo.
Yes.
And your version is that you attend upon that scene and you are met by Kelly Kumalo's uncle, Temba Kumalo, correct?
Uma senifika lapha kusini nahlangana noTemba Kumalo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, to just go back a bit, your testimony is that you meet a lady that waves you on and points to a particular direction, correct?
Ushilo nokuthi kunalo mama ke owayeni waiver enikhombisa ke direction ethize.
Yebo.
Yes.
Was it just a lady or were there two ladies or more than one?
Kwakulo mama yedwa noma babe babili?
More than one.
More than one.
Okay. And by their gesturing with their hands and pointing out, they pointed to a direction down Kutlano Street in the direction of the park, correct?
Ma nikhombisa ngako direction ye park.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, as you interact with those ladies, in order to know who are you going to look for at the park, did you get any information about the number of the people that had run in that direction?
Ingaba uma bese nikhombisa ke besho ke ngaba basho ukuthi bangaki labantu ababalekele ngase park.
Abasho ukuthi bayengaki bathe ama-suspect bayagijimela ngale.
They didn't say or mention the number, they just said the suspect ran towards that direction.
And you did not receive information about the facial, physical, and clothing description of the people that had run in that direction, correct?
Ukuthi banjani emzimbeni ubuso babo babegqokeni abazange banitshele lokho.
Abasana.
No, they didn't.
And you were the driver of the police car that night, correct?
Futhi nemoto yamaphoyisa yeshayelwa uwe ngalela langa.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, you drive towards that direction of the park. How far is the park from that residence, the 13511 Kutlwanong Street,
Ukusuka-
Mzamo section.
Ukusuka kule address ukuya epark kude kangakanani ipark?
akukho kude kangako ngithi akukho kude kangako
It's not that far.
that far.
If, by your estimation, estimation, will it be more than 500 meters or
That's
less than that?
ngathi 100 ngathi ngabeka 100
I'd say 100.
And you drive to that vicinity of the park, at the park, what do you do when you arrive there?
Uma senifika khona ke lapho epark nafika nenzani?
sithi kube shooting if I'm we ready sangena sahamba straight check sangabuya zange sibone imoto
As, so seeing that it was a shooting incident that had been reported, the firearms were ready. So we drove and we just checked, and couldn't see anyone. Yebo.
Let's clarify the word we checked. Did you physically enter the park with the motor vehicle, in the motor vehicle, or you parked the motor vehicle somewhere and entered the park on foot?
Ingaba uma nicheka niphakathi emotweni, nicheka niphumile emotweni, nahamba ngeenyawo.
asiphuma ngemotweni just i-crescent indawo yakhona
We didn't alight from the vehicle. The place is a crescent.
As educated as I am, I don't know what the crescent is. Explain that for me.
Yini crescent?
crescent uthi i-straight ungangena kanje bese uphumele ngale
It's a street that you are able to enter through and then you go out on the other side.
So you did the runaround at,
So-
at the vicinity of the park. You drove around.
Nangena ngaleso strato nase niphuma on the other side.
sesa-check ya
Yes, we checked.
And did you beam the lights of the police vehicle into the park to see if there are people in the park?
Ingaba ke ama lights emoto lena noma even lana nawabhima yini eparkini ukubona ukuthi akunamuntu yini?
yebo bewalayitiwe
Yes, they were on.
And how long did it take for you to do that initial cursory search of the park?
Lokho ke ukuthi ningene, ni drive, ni check bese nihamba kwanithatha isikhathi esingakanani?
not eside man ngoba azange since sithole ukuthi akunamuntu around lapha sesabuyela endlini
Not a long time. By checking and seeing that there was no one there, we then drove back to the house.
And at the house, that's when you meet Temba Kumalo, who introduces himself as Kelly Kumalo's uncle, correct?
Nase uma nifika lapho ke nahlangana noThemba wanitshela ukuthi uncle ka Kelly.
yebo
Yes.
Who was specifically talking to Temba Kumalo? Was it yourself or Sergeant Mutetwa?
Uwe
both of
noma
you?
umthetho owayekhuluma noThemba.
ngikhumbula ngathi beyakhuluma nami
If I remember well, I think you are speaking to me.
but sometimes uma ngiceda ukukhuluma uthi naye ufuna ukubuza shuthi uyakhuluma ngathi soyi-2 kahle
But at times you'd find out that I'm done talking, he would also want to know something. So basically he was speaking to both of us.
Now, what did Temba Kumalo tell you exactly about the shooting incident that you responded to at that residence?
Yini enayitshela uThemba mayelana shooting eyenzeka lapha?
uthe ngathi kudubuleke usenzo
He said that it was alleged or it was said that Senzo had been shot.
And by that, did you understand him to be saying Senzo was shot in the house or in the premises of 13511 Kutlwanong Street?
Ngaba ethi ke bathi kudubuleke uSenzo endlini noma udubuleke ejardini yalapha e13511.
ngikhumbula ngathi ambuza wathi ayekho sure but singaye endlini wathi abekho sure but singaye endlini
I think we asked him or I asked him, but he then said he wasn't certain. We can go to the house, but I am not certain.
Now, at the preliminary level, as a police officer and a first responder, if somebody says to you, Senzo has been shot at 13511 Kutlwanong Street, although the particulars thereof are still scant, would you agree that By so saying, he is informing you that that place is a scene of crime. Would you agree with me?
Uma ke lo muntu esenitshela ukuthi lo muntu udubulekile la e13511 yebo akasho ukuthi endlini akasho ukuthi ejardini kodwa uthi udubulekile la e1351 ngokwenza kanjalo lo muntu lona akanitsheli ke manje ukuthi yisini lena. That's what he's saying.
Okay. And you testify further that you then asked Temba Kumalo to open for you so that you can conduct a walkthrough of the crime scene, because now it is a crime scene, correct?
Nase nimcela ke ukuthi anivulele nizokwazi ukuthi nje nihambe nibheke ngoba ke manje sekuyi crime scene.
Asesangena sa-check asibuye sithi sokuthola ama cartridge sibone ukuthi vele le crime scene vele.
We went in to check to see whether we'll be able to find some cartridges, then to be able to say indeed this is a crime scene.
And by your testimony, you say when you entered the house, its condition was mixed up, to use your words. What do you mean by mixed up?
Ushilo ke ngaphambili wathi uma ningena lapha endlini wathola ukuthi ku mixed up. Ubusho ukuthini uma uthi wabona ukuthi ku mixed up?
Kumele izitsha ziphezwe besezinkini izitsha. Yeah, izitsha nje la ekitchen nje.
There were some dishes in the kitchen, just in the kitchen, on the sink. The dishes were there.
And you make certain observations in the kitchen initially, and let's clarify that. What do you observe at the first instance when you entered that house in the kitchen?
Uma sungena ke ngena kokuqala la ekitchen ke yini oyibonayo?
Ngiyibona ngikhumbula ngathi we crutch lapha ka left.
The crutch on the left side next to the stove.
And what else, if you recall, at the first instance?
I think the head as well.
And then you then move on to the kitchen through the passage.
And as well as the cans.
Okay. Are the cans in the kitchen?
Now my cans is in the dining room.
Okay. And your observation or your summation of you seeing the cans, you say it looked like there was a party there. What informs that summation of yours?
Ushilo ke ukuthi uma ubona lama cans la kwakungathi nje bane party yini eyakubangela ukuthi ucabange kanjalo?
Kuyizitsha bese nalotshwala la.
The dishes as well as the liquor that was there.
But from photo 64 that was shown to you, we only see 2 cans of alcohol.
Kodwa ke kulesi sithombe obusibonisiwe lana bekuyama can amabili nje kuphela utshwala. Yes.
One swallow makes the rain. I'll leave it. Now, at the first instance, did you then notice blood anywhere in the house?
Uma nifika noma ningene kokuqala lapha yana igazi kukhona la ngabona khona igazi uma nifika kokuqala.
Ngikhumbula kahle igazi silibone wesithumba sesibuya wesecond instance.
If I remember well, we only saw the blood when we came back for the second time.
On that aspect, okay, you recall that you made 2 statements regarding this incident, correct?
Uyakhumbula ukuthi kune statement oyi2 owazenza ne?
Yebo.
Yes.
The first one that I'm not going to refer you to was made on the 26th, early hours of 27th of October 2014, when this incident occurred, correct?
Esinye leso senze phakathi kwe26 nasekuseni nge27 October 2014.
Yebo.
Yes.
And the second one was made on the 15th of November 2018. And it was taken by an officer by the name of Richard Ramukosi. Do you know him?
Esinye sango November 2018 sathatha uRamukosi uyamazi?
Yeah, khona was a statement.
Yes, someone-
Ngisakhumbula ukuthi ubani, but ukhona umuntu owezwa.
Yes, someone came to take a statement as to who it was, I can't remember.
If I can ask that the witness be provided with A97, that's a document that he deposed to on that date. 15 February. Okay, I'm correct that. Now there's a document in front of you, and how was this document made? Did you narrate the story to the person that was making it, or did you reduce it yourself into writing?
Wawumtshela lo muntu lona ke oweza kuwe noma wayibhalela wena ngokwakho?
Hayi, bengimtshela.
I was narrating.
In what language were you conversing with this person when
Nisebenzisa AAP language.
Ngathi isiZulu.
IsiZulu.
And as you are narrating the story, he writes it down. After it was completed, was the document read back to you?
Uma eseqedile ke usibhala ingaba wakufundela yini lento ayibhalile?
Ngiyifunda, wathi ngiyifunda.
I read it, he asked me to read it.
And having read it, you were satisfied with the contents thereof, correct?
Uneliseka ke ilokho okubhaliwe.
Yebo.
Yes.
And having been satisfied with the document, you then appended your signature on the document. And if you can look at the document before you, there are, I think it's a first number and a signature at the bottom right of each page and at the end of the last page.
Wase uyasayina ke khona uyasayina la khona ne first number futhi.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, would you confirm that this is the statement that you made to Ramukosi on the, let me get the date correct, on the 15th of February 2018?
Yebo.
Now, on the
Is it February? Did you not say November?
it's February. That was a
Okay.
mistake at the beginning. When the statement is 15 February 2018.
Isona leswasenza ke ngo-15 ka February 2018.
Yeah, there's the additional statement.
Yes, the additional statement.
Now, my lord, I'll need the guidance of the court with respect to Mafaladiso and related cases. Should I read the whole document to him then?
How many pages? You want to engage him on how many pages?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 pages now.
On all the pages?
Sorry, my lord.
You're engaging him on all the pages?
No, I'm only engaging him in respect of paragraph 4 thereof.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, thank you, my lord. I mean, that's it.
Phone.
Now, I'm going to read to you paragraph 4 of A97, and it reads as follows, and I quote: Temba was on his way out of the house and informed us Senzo was shot inside the house. Temba Kumalo further informed us that Kelly, together with other victims, took Senzo to the hospital in Botselong. Temba told us that only the people in the house know what happened were all at the hospital. We entered the house and I noticed blood stain on the floor in the house was in an untidy stage. Do you see that paragraph?
uThemba ke wayesendleleni ephumayo endlini wasitshela ke ukuthi uSenzo wadutshulwa phakathi endlini. uThemba Kumalo okunye futhi awasichazela kona ke ukuthi uKelly kanye nabanye bathatha uSenzo bamisa esibhedlele eButsilong. uThemba wasitshela ke ukuthi abantu abaziyo ukuthi yini eyenzeka ilabo babesesibhedlele. Sangena phakathi ke endlini ngabona ke igazi phansi noma ama stain egazi phansi futhi ke nendlu nje yayikwisimo ke esingekho kahle noma ingcolile.
Now, what is deposed there and written there is that you notice blood at the first instance, in contrast to your testimony that you only noticed blood at the corner of the couch and TV stand on your second visit to the house upon returning from hospital.
Lana ke lokho bhalo la kuyaphikisana naloko kushoyo. Lana uthi igazi walibona uma ningena nje okokuqala endlini. Kodwa ke mawunikezwa ngobufakazi uthe igazi nalibona noma walibona uma nibuye kwesibili.
Ayibona mase sibuya kwesibili kahle kahle.
I saw the blood when we came back for the second time.
Now, let's move on. Upon having done that walkthrough the first time, you asked Temba Kumalo to lock the house so that you can go to the hospital, use your way to rush to hospital to get further clarification as to what transpired in that house, correct?
Uthi mase niqedile-ke namcela uThemba Khumalo ukuthi akavale nihambe niye esibhedlele niyozwa-ke ukuthi kwenzekani kahle kahle.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, when you go to that Butsilong hospital and you know now that Senzo was shot at that house, it's a crime scene, did you, for the first time before going to Butsilong, cordon off that crime scene?
Uma seniya-ke eButsilong-ke manje niyazi-ke ukuthi sekuyi-crime scene then ngalesikhathi nihamba niye esibhedlela ngaba nakhodina ngalesa sikhathi navala? No.
And as a first responding police officer to a shooting incident as it was described to you in the dispatch, you've got certain roles and responsibilities towards the scene, correct?
Nanje ngamaphoyisa okuqala-ke afika laphayana-ke noma ama-first responders ukuthi kukhona lokho enaziyo ukuthi kufanele ninama-responsibility noma nama-roles ekufanele niwenze kwiscene.
Yebo.
Yes.
The first, and you'll agree with me whether I'm wrong or right, is to assess the scene when you arrive to see whether there are injured people, dead people, injured people that will need medical attention, and to have them first get medical attention, correct?
Okokuqala-ke ukuthi kubheke ukuthi abakhona yini abantu abalimele ukuthi uma bekhona abantu abalimele ukuthi bathole usizo.
Yebo.
Yes.
And once the injured have been moved out of the scene and it is clear, then the second purpose is to secure the scene and preserve it so that evidence that is there is not contaminated and tampered with by removing unauthorized personnel from that crime scene, correct?
Uma-ke lokho senikwenzile-ke ukubheka-ke ukuthi noma uqiniseka ukuthi iscene lena-ke isecuriwe kwaye futhi iyavalwa-ke ngokuthi kususwe abantu ekungafanele ukuthi babe lapho.
Yebo.
Yes.
Let me just go back. When you first get at the scene, you meet Temba Kumalo. Were there any other people already at that scene, in the yard, in the house?
Ngalesikhathi nifika okokuqala nihlangana noThemba Khumalo babe khona abanye abantu ababe lapho.
Ilabantu laba lapha ku-pavement nalo mama lo osipointele ilona ama-suspect.
It's the people that were on the pavement together with the lady that was giving us directions as to where the suspects ran towards.
Now, to preserve and protect a scene from contamination by people, because people are the most contaminators on the scene, you cordon off the scene with a police tape, correct?
Ukuqiniseka-ke ukuthi-ke akukho kwenziwayo-ke abantu ukuphazanyiswa kwescene ngoba-ke abantu ibona-ke baziyo ukuthi bangangcolisaka noma baphazamise iscene uyavala nge-tape. Yes.
Now, the two ladies that you referred to, that they were pointing to a certain direction towards the park that you met on the scene. Would you agree with me that those are potential witnesses because they are pointing to potential suspects, correct?
Laba babili-ke ushoyo ukuthi babekhomba-ke bethi ama-suspects ayengalena-ke ukuthi-ke kwangama ama-potential witnesses ngoba bayakhomba bayasho ukuthi ama-suspects ayengakuphi.
Ebangazi, just bathi bathi abantu babalekele ngale not ukuthi bayabazi ukuthi bababonile kanje bathi abantu ama-suspects agijimele ngale leya direction.
It was not to say that they knew who they were. They just said that the suspects ran towards that direction.
Hence, I'm saying they were potential witnesses because you'll only learn later when you've taken their details and interview them to say, who did you see running there? You'll agree?
Ingakho ngisho ukuthi nayo ukuthi bangama witness babe ngaba noma babe ama potential witness ukuthi lokho ke ubuzokwazi kamuva ukuthi uma ubabuza ukuthi ubone bani obani labo babonile. Yes.
Now, did you obtain the contact details and residential addresses of the two ladies?
Ama contact details kanye nama address alama lady lawa wawathatha.
Angikhumbula kahle ngathi ngaphatha amagama, if I'm not mistaken. Ngathi wathatha amagama.
If I remember well, I think I took their names.
And you didn't take the details of where they reside or immediately in your pocketbook take their contact numbers?
Ukuthi bahlala kuphi nama contact numbers ozange kwathatha.
Ngafaka kulo pocket book le.
In the pocketbook.
And that pocketbook is not going to assist us because now it's gone absent without leave. Correct?
Angithi ayisekho ke manje le pocketbook. It's not there anymore.
Now, your testimony, just to clear this one out, there's you, Sergeant Tetwa, and the two student constables. You all drove to the hospital, correct?
Number 4 wena umthetho nama students awu2 na esibhedlela. Yes.
And the only person left on the scene guarding, for lack of better word, guarding the scene was Temba Kumalo, correct?
Kwasala Temba Kumalo yedwa la. Yes, the uncle.
Now, you go to the hospital. Where do you encounter this BMW SUV motor vehicle?
Uma seniya ke manje esibhedlela nihlangana kuphi ke nale BMW lena?
Egate eButhilong.
At the gate in Butilong.
And how does the interaction go? You say, Kelly, alights from the SUV, comes to you, or what happened, that interaction? Clarify it for me, please.
Uthukeli wehla wabe eseza kunina kwenzeka kanjani?
Mangikhumbula kahle uye wama nathi sama. Asima waphuma akazange waphuma nje la duze nemoto yakhe nathi saphuma sama nje duze nemoto yakhe washo ukuthi wabuza ukuthi lize nge-incident yasenzo ngathi yebo.
She stopped, we stopped. She didn't come to our vehicle. She just came, alighted from the vehicle and stood next to a vehicle. And we also alighted and stood next to our vehicle and inquired, are you here for Senzo's matter? Then we said yes.
And after that, was there an elaboration? Because according to your evidence in chief is that you went specifically to the hospital to find out the details of what transpired. Did you ask Kelly Kumalo exactly what happened on that scene at 13511 Kutani Street?
Ushilo ke ukuthi uma niya esibhedlela nanifuna ukwazi ukuthi kwenzekeni manje uma sesho kanjalo ke ingabe nambuza yini ke ema details ukuthi yini kahle kahle yenzeka.
Awu. Yebo ngiyachaza ngoba.
Kube.
Uthe usenzo seyasifile.
She said Senzo is dead.
Yes, but that's the tail part of the story. You said you went to the hospital to find the body of evidence, what really transpired in that house. Did you ask Kelly Kumalo what happened in that house?
Ushilo ukuthi uma niye esibhedlela nanifuna ukwazi ukuthi yini eyenzeke endlini. Manje ke nangoku Kelly senikhuluma naye nambuza yini noma wambuza yini ukuthi Kelly kwenzakalani endlini.
Sema simbuza wathi hayi singene phakathi sothola bakhona la bakhona endlini.
When we asked her that, she told us to go inside. The people, there are some people there inside the hospital who were in the house.
Okay, now you get into the hospital, you see the family seated at the waiting area, reception area. Did you ask any one of the family members there and then to come and assist you by describing what transpired in the house on that night in question?
Ushilo uma ningena esibhedlela bakhona ke laba behleli ku left befamily. Ingabe ukhona nabuza kuyena kulabo befamily ababehleli lapha yana.
Ngikhumbula kahle sibuze mase siceda ukumbona mase sithole ne declaration yakasenzo.
If I remember well, we inquired when we had already seen him and after having received Senzo's declaration.
Now, how long did you remain at the hospital? How long did you remain there?
Isikhathi singakanani enasichitha lapha esibhedlela?
Azange isikhathi esincane ngoba azange kube isikhathi eside ngoba abolona basheshe bafika bomkwili.
It was not a long time, a short time, because the Mukwili, the people that we contacted, were very quick to arrive.
And your version is that you then asked one of the persons that were in the house to accompany you back to the crime scene, and Kumalo volunteered for that, correct?
Uthi nase nicelaka ukuthi nikhashwe ukubuyela endlini uma Kumalo ba volunteer.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you left with Kumalo back to the scene, correct?
Nahamba naye.
Yebo.
Yes.
Was Kumalo accompanied by any other lady when you went back to the scene?
Uma Kumalo engene emotweni yenu nihamba naye ukubuyela endlini. Ukhona ubaba owayehamba naye noma ilady elagibela naye Kumalo.
Ngikhumbula bekayi-1 umama ngoba sashiya ama-students awashiya esibhedlela.
If I remember well, it was only Kumalo, and we also left the students at the hospital.
The reason I'm asking you, a lady came and gave evidence at this court. Her name is Nthabise Mokete. She says she and Kumalo accompanied the police officers back to the scene so that they can go and collect information that was needed for the purposes of records or whatever at the hospital. What's your comment on that?
Imbanga lokuthi ngikubuzeka leyo mbuzo kunosisi ke noma umama obelana ke wakwamu Nthabise ngokwaMkiti othe wahamba noma Kumalo bagibele emotweni yamaphoyisa ukubuyela endlini.
Ngikhumbula umama.
I only remember Kumalo.
And just for completeness sake, at the hospital, you did not interview Mtokozi Sitwala, Longwe Twala, Zandile Kumalo, and Tumelo Madala, correct?
Lama gama baliwe awuzange ukhulume nalabo bantu labo esibhedlela.
Angizange ngikhulume nawo.
No, I didn't.
Now you go back to the house for the second time now with Kumalo in company, and you conduct a search of the scene for the second time, correct?
Mase nibuyela endlini ke manje senihamba naye Kumalo, aphinda futhi ke nasesha senisesha kwesibini ke manje.
Yebo.
Yes.
And your testimony is that at some stage, you then observe that projectile that was shown to you on photo 5 of Exhibit C, correct?
Ushilo ukuthi nisabheka kanjalo nase nibona leya projectile okhulume ngayo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, our favorite person, Nthabise Mokete, has testified on that aspect in this court to say she was with Kumalo in the room at the time, the room opposite the kitchen. Then she went and fetched water in the kitchen. And as she was going to the kitchen, she saw that projectile on the floor, and she asked the police officers, "Is this not what you are looking for?" So meaning that she's the one that found or saw that projectile.
Nthabise ngeke uyena ke othi wa ekitchen eyokhelela amanzi ke wabo esebona leya projectile wabuza emaphoyiseni ukuthi asikona lokho nikubhekayo, so uthi uyena umuntu wabona le projectile. I don't know about that one.
So you've never seen or that person that's called Nthabise Mokete on the scene that night from hospital?
No.
And you've never traveled with her back from hospital?
No. I don't remember.
Now, when you searched the house for the second time, except the projectile on the floor that you point later to Captain Zwane, did you find anything else?
Uma senisesha ke manje ngaphandle kwale projectile khona okunye nakuthola? No.
And did you conduct a search in the kitchen around the cupboard, kitchen cupboard areas for any exhibits?
La kune cupboard ekhona noma ke cupboard ekhona la ekitchen ingaba kuleyo ndawo leyo nasesha yini?
Yebo sasesha nje indlu yonke.
Yes, we did, the entire house.
And you didn't locate any cartridges, any projectiles on those kitchen countertops, correct?
Lapho zange ngithole ama cartridges noma ama projectiles. No.
Now, evidence has been led in this court that Mafiri cleaned the scene prior to your arrival at 135111. Do you have a comment on that?
No comment.
As the court pleases, my lord, no questions for the witness.
Thanks, yes, Mr. Minister.
Say just one aspect. I request that we make assurances that we sure about it. May you please beam us the photos of the kitchen? Where particularly the sink and the cupboards are depicted. I don't know what photo is it. Can you please check it for us? Whilst they are busy with the identification of the photo that I specifically want us to use, photo number 30, I just said only one aspect. Your testimony is that you searched in the house with a view to try and find out if you'd be able to find other cartridges, as we have already been informed that this was a shooting scene, then you couldn't find any.
Ufakazi bakho uyashoka ukuthi nanibheka ke endlini ke njengoba nasenizwile ukuthi shooting scene le ukuthi nizothola ama cartridge anathola lutho. Yes.
You also say that you searched on the kitchen cupboard, on the zinc, but still you couldn't locate any cartridges.
Khabethe uzinki na search kodwa zange ngithole lutho. Yes, we searched.
Now, let's look at photo 13. Did you also conduct search specifically for this area of the kitchen?
Le ndawo eveziwe lana nayo nabheka kuyona.
Sabheka kitchen.
Yes, we looked in the kitchen.
Thank you. Just bring us another photo. And you couldn't find anything?
Anathola lutho. No.
I think photo number 15 depicts the photo that has just been shown previously, where you said that on the right-hand side of photo number 15, it's a depiction of the photo that has been referred to previously, and then you said you searched it, you couldn't find anything. And then on photo number 15, there's a sink. I think it's what appears to be a carpet where there's a yellow item there. The photo that's on your left, did you also conduct a search on that area of the kitchen?
Yabo lapho nalento left yellow khona, ne? Nalapho nabheka khona.
Sabheka.
Yes, we did.
And you did not find
Zange
anything?
ngithole lutho. No.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. My lord, got no further questions.
No cross-examination, thank you.
Mr. Mthethwa, can you tell this court?
Mathebula.
Oh, sorry, my lord, Mr. Mathebula. What do you know, or what is the purpose and intention of securing the crime scene?
Yini waziyo ukuthi yini injongo iminhloso yokusecure i-crime scene?
Ama-exhibits ne-information.
Ukuthini?
Thola ama-exhibits, singathola
Okay.
ama-exhibits.
It's to get information as well as the exhibits.
Is to get information as well as exhibits?
Information and exhibits.
Yebo.
Yes.
Okay. That's what you understand?
Ilogo understandayo.
Okay. By the term to secure the crime scene, do you understand anything? What does that mean?
Le term lena yona ethi ukusecure i-crime scene. Ukukhona understandayo ngayo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Isho ukuthini?
To a police officer. I'm speaking to you as a police officer.
Umuntu oyiphoyisa ngikhuluma nawe nanjengephoyisa.
Ukuvala isini. Khombisa ukuthi ukuvala isini lezi ufaka ukuvala isini nge-tape bese uyagada isini.
It is to cordon off the scene with a tape and then you guard the scene.
Okay. You testified that you entered the house and you searched. You couldn't find any exhibits. Is that what you said?
Ushilo ukuthi nangena anatholanga exhibits.
Yebo.
Yes.
Did you guard the crime scene after that?
Emva kwalokho nayigada yini i-crime scene? No,
And the reason
because I didn't find anything.
Ngizasithola ngani?
Isn't it that we didn't get anything?
to you, what do you understand by the crime scene? Is it a crime scene because we have seen certain exhibits, or it's a crime scene because the offense had been committed in that crime, in that area?
Uma kukhulunywa nge-crime scene, kukhulunywa nge-crime scene ngoba kunento isehlakalo senzakele khona lapho noma i-crime scene ngoba kunezinto oyibonayo noma eyitholakele khona lapho. The incident,
Irrespective of whether you see or we are able to point out any exhibits, it's a crime scene.
no noma ke ukuthi ke uyakhomba noma khona izinto okwazi uyikhomba eyitholakalayo ukuthi i-crime scene.
I think isitholile nazi ngiyazibona akekho umuntu ongangitshela ngazi ukuthi nazi lona it's a crime scene.
But if I find exhibits and I can see here they are and there's no one that can tell me anything, but yes, it is a crime scene.
Like a cartridge or a bullet.
Like cartridges and bullets.
Okay. What do you understand? What are you referring to as exhibits?
Uma ukhuluma ngama exhibits ukhuluma ngani?
Because we have mentioned the hat, we have mentioned the crash that you identified inside the house. You also mentioned the cans.
Ukhulumile ngesigqoko, ukhulumile ngecrash, ukhulumile ngama-can.
Do you identify them as exhibits or non-exhibits?
Kuwena lokho bekungama exhibits noma cha?
Where am I exhibit? Masesibuya noma amasho ukuthi lezi ezande izinto.
They became exhibits when we came back with the lady and she told us as to what those items were.
Oh, okay. But firstly, when you came, when you saw those items, you didn't think it formed part of the exhibits?
Kodwa uma nifika ukuqala nizibona bekungasiwona ama exhibits.
Cabanga ukuthi into bezabo maybe zaba lapha endlini abo Kelly nabo.
We were under the impression that those items belonged to them, the people that were in the house, Kelly and the others.
Oh, okay. So according to your knowledge, what is it that forms part of the exhibits? It's only the empty cartridges?
Kuwena ke lokho okuba ingxenye yama exhibits, ama cartridge are empty.
We projectile upon this ball.
There, it was the projectile as well as the head.
There was a projectile that you saw?
Kuna projectile inayibona.
Yeah, we must put those two.
Yes, when we came back for the second time.
Oh, okay. And you also testified that you looked for the cartridges. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes. And you didn't find anything?
We didn't find it.
Okay. And that projectile that you saw for the first time, where did it come from?
Manje le projectile benibona okokuqala ke ibibuya kuphi?
Sorry, when you came back from hospital?
Uma senibuya esibhedlela.
Should you it's like should the projectile ile ngithi umama kakhuma lusitshela ukuthi yoba ne shooting. Sesa check must check sesa thola that projectile.
The Kumalo lady informed us that there was a shooting, and then upon our checking, we then came across that projectile.
So it means that the first time when you inspected the crime scene, you failed to take a proper look. That is why you couldn't see that projectile for the first time.
Okusho ukuthi uma nibheke okokuqala ukuthi anibhekisisanga kahle ingakho ningayibonanga le projectile.
Sibonanga okokuqala.
We didn't see it the first time.
I just missed the introduction of your duties. You were attached to the crime prevention unit. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yebo.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are the duties of a crime prevention police officer?
Umsebenzi ke wephoyisa i-crime prevention yini?
Prevent the crime.
It's to prevent crime.
Okay. And then now you are at the scene. You had been told, or you have been informed that there has been a shooting incident. Did you prevent any crime from further happening at the crime scene?
Manje ke nilaphayana ke nitsheliwe ke ukuthi ke kunalesi sehlakalo senzekile ingaba na preventa yini ukuthi kube nesinye sehlakalo senzekayo.
Sorry my lord, to be specific, at the first time when you arrived at the scene.
Uma nifika kokuqala laphayana.
Ngicela uphindele yona mama.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. You said one of your duties as a crime prevention officer is to prevent crime from happening.
Uthi-ke upreventa i-crime umsebenzi wakhe. Yes.
Then my question is, when you arrived at the scene for the first time, did you prevent the crime from happening?
Uma nifika-ke lapha ngaba na-preventa yini i-crime ukuthi ingenzeki?
Beseyenzekile.
It had already happened.
Yes, did you prevent the crime from further happening?
Ukuthi iphinde futhi yenzeke na-preventa yini? No.
Okay. Now, when you arrive at the crime scene, the first officer to arrive at the crime scene, what do you do before the arrival of the other officers at the crime scene?
Nanjengephoyisa lokuqala-ke ukufika ku-crime scene, yini oyenzayo ngaphambi kokuthi kufika amanye ama-officer?
Check-a i-scene, check-e, uqeda ukucheck-a bese uthola information, uqeda ukuthola information, if i-positive, ukondona i-scene.
You check for information, and then upon you check and then gather information, and then upon gathering that information, if it is positive, you then cordon off the scene.
Yeah, did you do that when you
No.
arrived at the crime scene?
Nakwenza lokho? No.
Okay. One more question. You further testified that it was upside down inside the house when you arrived, as if there had been a party. Do you remember that?
Ushilo ukuthi kwaku-mixed nje laphayana ngongathi kwakune-party.
Ngibona ngizitsha e-kitchen nje.
Yes, by seeing the dishes in the kitchen.
Yeah. So the dishes showed that there had been a party.
Nalama-can lawa, 2-3 lawa.
As well as those 2-3 cans.
Oh, okay. Then that told you that, informed you that there had been a party because of the 2 cans.
Lawo makhenike lawa bese sithi kwakune-party.
Ngicabanga kanjalo.
That's how I thought.
What was your years of experience at the time of
It was
the
6.
incident?
It was 6.
6 years. A constable, trainee constable or a qualified constable?
Oh, constable noma say trainee.
Qualified.
Qualified.
Okay. At the time when you decided to go to the hospital, why didn't you separate amongst the 4 colleagues of you who attended the crime scene and leave others at the scene to secure the crime scene?
Uma nihamba nesibhedlela manje kuma nani-4 njena wena nomthethwa nalama students awu-2 kwathini-ke ningahlukanisani abanye basale la abanye bahambe baye esibhedlela?
Now we were student.
They were still students.
Okay, and then amongst yourselves?
Nina nobabili?
Some constable.
We were constables.
Yes, amongst yourself, I mean, why didn't you separate between you and Constable Mteto?
Ngibuza ukuthi kwakuthini kwakungani ukuthi ningahlukanisani-ke wena-ke naye uconstable Mthethwa?
Ayizange ifike lapho.
That never came to us.
Oh, okay. And you further testified that when you came back from the hospital, Kumalo was the one you were busy with inside the kitchen.
Utshilo nokuthi uma nibuya esibhedlela uMakhumalo uyena-ke nanibhizi naye ekitchen.
Yep.
Yes.
Where were the other family members, Zandile Kumalo and Kelly Kumalo at that time?
Abanye laba-ke befamily uZandile uKelly babekuphi?
Ngisathatha umama esibhedlela senza ukuthi wasele esibhedlela.
The only person we took from the hospital was the mother, which means that they remained behind at the hospital.
Okay. Other than the 4 of you who were inside the kitchen, were there any other people inside the house?
Ngaphandle kwenu-ke ababephakathi lapho bakhona abanye ababephakathi endlini.
Captain Zwane.
Captain Zwane,
Yeah, other than you who were at the kitchen.
ngaphandle kwenu-ke ababesekitchen. No.
Oh, okay. Ms. Ntabisengi Mukete also testified that she was inside the house and she even came into the kitchen where you were conducting the investigation. Did you see him?
Mthabiseni uthi-ke wayesendlini-ke naye waze wazofika-ke nasekitchen la enanibhizi khona. Wambona? I don't even remember her.
And she even testified that she is the one who informed you about the projectile that was lying on the floor.
Nokuthi uyena owanikhombisa leya projectile eleli phansi. No.
Okay. How was the visibility inside the kitchen where you were conducting the investigation?
La enanibhizi khona ekitchen kwakukanjani ke ngokubonakala noma ke ukukhanya?
Light nje kahle.
It was like this, there was light.
Oh, okay. And it is your evidence that you conducted search even on top of the cupboards. Is that correct?
Uyasho futhi ukuthi nangaphezulu kwekhabethe leya nasesha futhi.
Yebo sasesha.
Yes, we did.
And if there was any exhibits there on top of the cupboard, who would have seen it?
Uma kuwukuthi kwakunayo exhibit eyikhona lapha nanizoyibona.
Hey lapha ngeke ngithi bengizoyibona kanjani but asibonanga sitholanga next.
I wouldn't say that we would have, but we didn't see or find anything.
And you further testify that Makumalo, okay, sorry, my lord, can I just rephrase? Did you say Makumalo picked up the hat or she pointed out the hat?
Uma Kumalo isigqoko leso wasithatha noma wasikhomba nje wathi nasi isigqoko.
Wasithatha wathi lesigqoka sathi ayi sibeke phansi besigqoka ama suspect.
She picked it up and said it was worn by the suspect, and then we said, no, put it down.
Okay. Did you record that hat had been touched by Makumalo?
Nakubhala phansi ukuthi uma Kumalo wasibamba leso sigqoko leso. No, we didn't.
Did you inform
Sorry?
Mr. Mus?
Sisimention kuphela sanisisho ukuthi wasibamba.
We mentioned it only, but he never said that she touched it.
You mentioned to who?
Mention akubani?
Show statement.
I'm referring to the statement.
You mentioned that Makumalo touched the hat.
No,
Yeah.
Just mention isigqoko kuphela.
only mentioned the head.
Did you understand my question?
Uzwile yini umbuzo wami?
I said, did you record that in your statement that Makumalo had touched the hat?
Lokho ukuthi wasibamba nakubhala yini ku statement? No.
Why not? Because it amounted to the tampering with the exhibits. Why you didn't record such crucial information in the
Kwangani ke-
statement?
Kwangani ke ningayibhali ngoba ke manje sekusho ukuthi manje khona okukwenzekile ke ku exhibit noma ke ku tempera ne exhibit. Kwangani ke ningayibhali nisho ukuthi usibambile? That we didn't think about that.
Oh, you also didn't think. But were you in your sound and sober senses when you attended the crime scene?
Ngalesikhathi niya ke ku crime scene noma uya ke ku crime scene wawuse kuma senses akho ngokuphelele. Yes.
Oh, okay. Furthermore, you testify, or did you inform Mr. Mosia when he arrived that the hat had been touched by Ms. Makumalo?
Uma efika umsiya wamtshela yini ukuthi uma Kumalo wasibamba lesigqoko?
Ngisakhumbule
I can't remember well there.
Oh, okay. So it means Constable Mosia was also misinformed by the members who attended the crime scene first.
just
Kwakusho ukuthi ke umsiya ke akazange atshelwe ke iqiniso ke ilaba abafika kuqala ku scene.
just nje sesamtshela ukuthi uma ukhumala uthi lesigqoko esibanjwa ngalona esigqoka ama suspect.
Mm.
We only informed him that Makumalo conveyed to us that this hat was worn by the suspect.
Yeah, that's not my question. Just be specific to my question.
Aswona ke umbuzo wami cela nje uphendule umbuzo wami. Can you repeat it?
So it means Mr. Mosia was misinformed because he was never told of it.
You can't say he was misinformed. He was not informed.
He was not informed. Thank you, my lord.
Misinformed means they told Musia something else.
As the court pleases.
No, I didn't tell
As the
him.
court pleases, my lord. Sorry?
No, I didn't. We didn't inform him.
Okay. And you said after checking on top of the cupboards, then the other members of the task team arrived.
Uthi ke
Did I hear
sabheka ke
correctly?
khona lapho kwase kufika ke abe task team. Yes.
How many members?
Babe bangaki?
If you can still recall.
Uma usakhumbula.
It was more than 2.
More than 2. Babe ngaphezu ko 2.
Oh, okay. And they all entered inside the kitchen.
Bangena phakathi ekitchen bonke. Yes, they came in.
And the 4 of you who were already inside the kitchen.
Kanye nani futhi abawu4 ababese bephakathi ekitchen. Yes.
So it means in total, how many members now were you inside the kitchen?
Naniseni bangaki ke manje abamember aye phakathi ekitchen.
Sakhumbule ukuthi wayengakho.
I can't remember as to how many they were.
But there were many people inside the kitchen.
Kodwa ekitchen kwakunabantu abaningi.
Ukuthi iningi ngizothi iningi. If being the number, just angisakhumbula inumber ukuthi uyingaki.
Not to say many, it's just that I can't remember their number so as to be exact.
Yeah, but you can't deny that there were many people because you can't recall the number.
Kodwa ke awungeke ukuphikiseke ukuthi babe baningi abantu basekitchen ngoba awubakhumbuli bona ukuthi babe bangaki.
Ngikhumbula kahle, it's not like we were baningi, it's like baningi.
But if I remember well, it's not to say that they were many.
Yes, I also want to be specific. Are you also including Constable Musia?
Naye umsiya uyamfaka kuleyo number leyo.
Yebo.
Yes.
And at the time when you left all those people inside the kitchen.
Uma seniphuma ke nina ke nabashiya labo bantu labo ekitchen.
Ukuthi kitchen la phakathi kwekitchen nelona ne-dining room lapho.
It's not specific, not specifically
kitchen maybe indawo.
Not specifically in the kitchen. The kitchen is small. Between the kitchen and the dining room, the witness points here. Say the kitchen is this size.
Okay. So what's your answer then?
Basithole la besime khona besime la in between the kitchen nelona ne-dining room.
They found us where we were standing between the kitchen and the dining room,
Not the kitchen specific.
not specifically in the kitchen.
Do I understand correctly that those were senior members of the SAPS?
They are my senior members, bona.
Yebo.
Yes.
And when they arrived at the crime scene, they would have expected, they would get a report from you who have arrived first at the crime scene.
Ukuthi ke uma befika bona babezothola umbiko kunina abafika kuqala ku crime scene
Bazothola ku Captain Zwane.
from Captain Zwane.
Ah, okay. So you were not the one who who gave them the report about the crime scene?
No.
Thank you, my lord. I've got no further questions.
Thanks. Mr. Baloyi, any re?
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. Just one. Sorry, my lord. My apologies. Did you testified that you spoke to Kumalo when you were from the hospital
Yebo.
to the house? Is that
yes.
correct?
Yes.
And also inside the house, you also spoke to Kumalo.
Nasendlini futhi nakhuluma naye.
La bese sibonisa khona ukuthi yenzekile.
That's where she was pointing out to us that it happened here.
Oh, okay. Did Kumalo at any stage tell you that there was a cell phone robbed during
Never.
the incident?
Ingaba khona la anitshela khona Makhumalo ukuthi kune cell phone eyarojwa kuleso sigameko leso.
Yebo one.
Yes, one.
What did she say?
Wathini?
Wathi bathathe i-cellphone yakhe if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, she said Kelly's phone was taken, or they took Kelly's phone.
From where?
Bayithatha kuphi?
Isho ngisakhumbula ukuthi
I can't remember where.
Oh, okay. Did you record that information in your statement?
Akubhala phansi lokho statements up? No.
Oh, okay. Did you also convey that message to the other police officers that the cell phone was robbed as well?
Was yes.
Thank you, my lord. I've got no further questions.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
Just one or two aspects. In cross-examination by all counsel, you mentioned that you conducted a search there in the kitchen where or in the vicinity of the cupboards. Can you just explain perhaps what type of search did you conduct?
Uma ubuza ibona bonke ke abameli shilo ukuthi nasesha ke lapho ekitchen la kune cupboard ekhona. Uma ungachaza nje ukuthi the search ukhuluma ngayo search kanjani?
Afike usearch nje ubheke around check nje ukuthi khona into ongayithola.
You get there, you round the place, you check as to whether there's something that you'll be able to find.
Sorry, can you just explain in clearer terms?
Uma ungachaza nje ngendlela ke ezwakalayo.
Search usilapha ukubheka ubheke ungene ubheke useshe ucheck ukuthi konke ungayithola if ayikho if uyayithola uyayifaka that something ekukhombisa ukuthi uthole something.
Is the witness indicating you look around, you just check and you look around whether there'll be something that you can find or you can see. And if there is something, you then put something just to indicate.
Now, counsel for accused number 5, Advocate Mshololo, asks you what you do as first officer on the scene before the arrival of other police officers. You indicated that you check, you gather information, and if it's positive, you cordon the crime scene.
Akubuzile Advocate Mshololo ukuthi yini oyenzayo nanjengepholisa lokuqala elifikayo wathi wena uyabheka ke uthole information uma kuukuthi positive leyo information ubese uyacoordinate office. Yes.
And can you just indicate at what point did it occur to you that this was a crime scene?
Manje kuzofika nini ke kuwena ke ukuthi manje le sekuyi crime scene?
Klika kahle klike mase ngibona usenza bheke phezulu la ukuthi yo alephe lesini.
It really clicked when I saw Senzo facing upwards that hey, this was indeed a scene.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Thanks. Just tell me for my information, were you ever told that there were other projectiles or cartridges or casings which were found on the scene after you and your colleague had
No, my lord.
searched, as you say?
The witness says no, my lord.
You were never told about that?
Yes.
I believe that you searched. Did you have an idea that a bullet can ricochet
Ingabe
from a hard
wawunolwazi
surface?
ngabe uyakwazi unolwazi yini ukuthi ibullet yakwazi uricochet? Yes.
Did you check for that?
Nakubheka lokho.
Sabheka last thole athi masithathola la iminyango ukuthi unala damage ke khona.
We did, my lord, and then that's when you saw then that the door was damaged.
Did you check the ceiling
Ceiling naibheka.
for any holes of ricocheting bullets, for instance?
Sacheck.
We did.
That's good. And?
Asangithole.
We didn't find any.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you, sir.
Just one, my lord, arising from the court's question. Thank you, my lord. You said you checked the holes. Am I correct? Did I hear you correct?
My holes now abheka.
Yebo.
Yes.
That hole, the one on at the door. You said that one?
Yebo.
Maybe my lord, can the witness be assisted? Yeah. Thank you. It's in photo number 15, my lord.
This one.
Yeah. Did you check in that hole if there was any exhibit?
Nabheka lapho ukuthi kune exhibit ekhona.
Sabheka.
We checked.
Okay. Can you describe the hole? What type of the hole was it?
Uma ungachaza ke leyabo ukuthi yenjani.
If you still remember.
Uma kuukuthi usakhumbula.
Ihlupile nje ukuthi vele.
It's damaged.
Damage.
Okay.
Ihlupile.
And then you showed that inside you couldn't see anything.
Phakathi zange ngibone lutho. No.
Thank you, my lord. Very good. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Yes, thanks, sir.
Good deal. Thanks.
Please, may we take the long adjournment at this point?
Okay, long adjournment.